Hi there, in this video you are going to see a very interesting LangGraph architecture which is around a supervisor multi-agent architecture. And I've taken the scenario related to an insurance industry. So let's say you have a customer asking various questions to an agent, and these questions could be related to the insurance contract or it could be related to insurance billing. The router agent is going to determine the intent of the question, and then it is going to forward the question to relative sub-agents. So for example, if the user is asking a question related to insurance contract, in that case, the contract sub-agent is going to be activated. This sub-agent is then going to read unstructured data, which is coming from this insurance PDF and giving back the response. But if the question is related to billing, in that case, the billing sub-agent is going to be activated, and the billing sub-agent is then going to read data from a billing CSV and give back the response. Now let us see what is the Python code implementation for this. If you are interested to see the complete Python notebook, you can also access it via the GitHub link, which I have put it in the video description. So here you will require an API key, and here for all the agents we are going to use OpenAI large language model, so you will need an OpenAI key. You'll also need to import various packages, and more importantly the packages which are related to LangChain and LangGraph. Now let me also show you the PDF document which is the insurance contract, and as you can see that this is a completely unstructured document which has got all the contractual information such as the contract, the coverage summary, deductibles, etc., etc. And now let me also show you the billing data, which is structured data, and you can see here that this billing data corresponds to the customer name, policy number, billing number, premium amount, as well as other information. Now the first step is to create embeddings out of the PDF document, because it is going to help us read information from this unstructured data. So how you do it is you take the PDF document, you then convert it into text using a function called as pypdf loader. You then split the text using a chunking method. These chunks are then passed on to an large language model which is capable of doing embeddings or vectorizing. And once you have the embeddings or vectors for each of these chunks, you are then going to store it in a vector store. So this is the code which does the steps which I have just described. Now let us also define the different tools or different sub-agents which will be activated. So you have the contract sub-agent which is going to receive a question, and then based on the question we are going to get information from the vector store which we have just created earlier over here. And then once we have the relative chunks which are very close to the question, we can build the context, and this then context is sent to a large language model via the prompt to get the answer. If we have the billing agent which is activated, this billing agent is going to receive the question. It is then also going to look into a Pandas data frame, because here we are going to look for data in a structured format. So Pandas is a very nice way to manage structured data. It is going to then build a summary based on the answers retrieved, and then it is again going to make a prompt which will be sent to a large language model, and we are going to get the final answer. Now let us see on how to implement this in Python. So here we have this contract Q&A, which is basically retrieving all the relevant chunks based on the question, and a prompt is made which has got the context, which is the retrieved chunks, as well as it has got the question, and then we are invoking the large language model to get the answer. For the billing agent, we are again making a prompt, but this time we are going to use something called as Pandas lookup, which is going to take the question and it is going to retrieve the relevant data from the Pandas data frame. It is going to put that in a prompt, and then we are going to invoke the large language model. Now we can see on how to fit all this thing into a LangGraph agent. So you need to first define an agent state, and here you have to define different variables such as the question as well as the answer, more importantly. And then here this is the prompt which is going to be activated for the main supervisor agent. So this prompt says that you are a routing agent and you have to route questions to a contract agent or a billing agent, and we have the descriptions of both of this. Once that is done, you are all set to create the LangGraph. And in LangGraph, you have to first create different nodes. So this is the router node. You also have to take a router decision, which is where the agent should pass the work. Should it go to the billing agent or it should go to the contract agent? You are creating the contract node, you are creating the billing node, and then you are all putting everything together in a graph. So you are adding the router node, you are adding the contract node, the billing node, and then you are also adding this conditional node, which is based on the question, either you should go to the contract node or you should go to the billing node. And then you add the contract node, billing node, and then you kind of add the end node. So visually this looks something like this. You have the router agent which is going to pass the work either to a billing node or going to pass the work to a contract node, and the work is then going to end. Now let us test this on how this would look like. So for example, if you ask a question such as, what is the individual annual deductible for this policy? So this is a contractual question. In that case, the path will be from the router agent to the contract agent, and we are going to get the answer from the PDF document. Once again, this is retrieved from the vector database based on the closest chunks to this particular question. But if you ask a question such as, what is Alice Johnson's current balance due? So this is a billing question, and the route will be taken from the router agent to the billing agent. It is going to retrieve the relevant records from the Pandas data frame, make a prompt, and then it is going to give you the final answer that what is the current balance. So this is a very interesting way in order to manage different type of sub-agents which are all tied together to a router agent. So try it out and let me know your feedback, and also let me know in the comments on what kind of scenarios you think a router multi-agent system could be very useful. Thank you for watching. Please follow, please subscribe to the channel, and see you soon in the next video. Thank you. Bye.